this week because I had some things happen I can't talk about just yet. Rodney knows, but he'll keep that to himself. Right. So, but the long and short of it is, it's been an unusual week for me. So I've kind of like, I'm still trying to figure out how to get by a Moss. My next audio podcast is a Moss. So they let me use Hour of the Wolf for the podcast, but I got to forget the damn thing on an MP3 somehow. And I'm just looking for, it's not like the things you have to learn how to jury rig when it comes to Spotify is unbelievable. I swear. I've become an engineer being a podcaster. I don't know how that happened, sir.
Yeah, I think it's through osmosis.
Yeah, it's just like, oh God, I gotta figure this stuff out, and this stuff out. And it's kind of one of those things where you just look at it and go, oh, awesome shit, right? Or something to that effect. But we were just talking like about what's going on in Canada right now, which, current Twitter trends are Freedom Convoy and Blackface Hitler, which is the other major thing. Everybody, again, I'm not gonna go too deep because this is, to me, like, there's a lot of it. This is Canada having growing pains like every nation sooner or later hits.
Yeah.
And Canada's a young country in comparison to the rest of the world. So the rest of the world has dealt with protest and other things like this for a very long time, some in good ways, some in horrifying ways. And Canada's going to be figuring out what that's going to look like going forward pretty much from here on in.
Yeah.
So, but it's so, and Mike, and what I've noticed is too, it really depends on where you're getting your information, is your point of view on the convoy.
Well,
if you're getting it from the news,
the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going by the news stations, you probably think one way. If you're actually watching it on Twitter live, you think another way, right? I really think that the media has killed their credibility in Canada a lot, just based on trying to do the narrative versus what. Again, you can go on Twitter and watch the feeds. You might disagree with the truckers. You might agree with the truckers. That's really not the issue at this point in time. It's really about when people have legitimate griefs, how the government is going to interact with people, if at all.
It's about disseminating information.
Yeah.
And when the information that you're being fed by people that are supposed to be a trusted source for news is slanted because of an agenda, you are not, nor will you ever get the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem in this country. All of the networks that carry the news are bought and paid for by the pharmaceutical companies.
Yes.
So you're never going to get a contrary opinion to the pandemic, to anything else that's not in favor of control with fear, control with fear, control.
Okay, I'm going to say this flat out. I am not a big fan of Fox News.
Of what?
Of Fox News. I'm not a big fan of them. They're slanted in their own ways, in unique ways.
Right, and so is CNN.
CNN is the absolute. Like, I actually think in some ways CNN is worse. At least Fox is good at it. Right?
Well, here's the difference, okay? Yeah. And just because we're at midterms, it's different now because you have one party that is struggling to hold on to power, and you've got the other party that sees the ripple in the curtain, and they see an opportunity to start grasping for that power. So the other party's nervous. Yeah. So now they're going to start kissing everybody's asses. They're going to lift the mandates.
I think the Republicans are going to take the House in a landslide. Oh. I think it's going to be a landslide. Like, it's not even. I don't think it's even going to be close. Because again, looking around, people are seeing what they're seeing. Like, the honest truth is, the non-mandated states had about as many deaths as the mandated states.
Right.
So, did the mandates work? And that's the legitimate question. And
we'll never know because all the facts have been skewed.
Yeah. So, and we've become and this is like one of the things that like the pandemic taught me in the last 2 years is, as a society, we do not have transparency or integrity at the very top. And because we don't, and we haven't for a long time. But
We
it was
have
never.
and I was just watching. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm going to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
The men that built America I've had the History Channel on all weekend, and Rockefeller and Carnegie and the other guy. I can't think of his name. When they bought the presidency in 19, I'm going to say 8, early on, maybe it was 16. When they realized that if they pooled their resources and worked together rather than fighting each other and trying to have a pissing contest to see who had the biggest dick, they pooled their resources and they worked together. They realized that they could buy the presidency, and then everything else was gravy after that. Since that time, nothing's been transparent.
Yeah,
And the 1% has controlled everything.
Oh, it's been the case, I would say, since in your country, it's been that way since the Federal Reserve System was introduced.
Yeah.
Since that
Which
time.
was one of the things that Kennedy tried to abolish, and you saw what happened to him.
Yeah, well, yeah, because and to people that don't understand the Federal Reserve System, in the United States, the American dollar is essentially printed out by a corporation. There is no bank. There is no people, there is no government that has control of the dollar. It is a corporate entity and has been since 1918.
Yeah.
That is how the American dollar works. Why is that important? Because the American dollar being this way is the reason why the prices of things and inflation being the way it is possible. Prior to the Federal Reserve System, I mean, there was inflation, but it was a lot more moderate than what it is today.
Yeah,
right?
the strength of the global dollar is based on the strength of the US $100 bill.
Yes.
And it's been that way since that time.
Yep. Well, there was a transfer. World War II was a transference, like because of just how the United States did during the Second World War.
Right.
The United States became the de facto power of the world. At one time, the American dollar was actually better than gold. Yeah. Which is that, I mean, to understand that in perspective, look at the price of what a little bit of gold goes for $1 today. And at one point, and not that long ago either, the American dollar was better than that.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And you got to understand, and you have to understand the difference of purchasing power. Someone in 1950 making $3 doesn't sound like a lot of money. But in the early 50s especially, that dollar was worth more than gold. So that $3 got you a lot.
Yeah.
Now?
Well, to equate it to stuff that people that might be watching can understand is comic books.
Yeah.
In the early 50s, comic books were 7 cents a piece.
Yeah.
And then they went up to 12 cents, and then they went up to 20 cents, and then they went up to, it just kept going up and up and up as the price of everything kept increasing. And that's, it's just, everything's related.
Yeah. So that's how, and that's how the prices work. It's not rocket science, but most people never look at how their money works. In Canada, the Bank of Canada is owned by the citizens of the country. That's how it works. That said, most Canadians have no idea what that actually means. And because of that, and that lack of financial education is a big reason why things are the way they are.
Right.
We've hit this is what I do think. This is probably the most doom and gloom, and then we'll get to like sillier shit. I do think we've hit a point with the last 2 years that we're coming to the end of how things have been for a very long time.
Yep.
I do not see what is currently in place staying this way over the next 10 years. I think what's coming next is there's going to be a massive overhaul. We have inflation issues worldwide, not just in states, worldwide. The solution to that is a depression, which sucks, but it's better than inflation, right? Will that be done? I have no idea. Your president is nuts. There's no other way to say it. Your president's nuts.
He's a talking head.
Yeah. Yes. I'm not even gonna argue at that point.
Yeah.
He's possibly he is the Muppet of Muppets. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who the insane person is on that one. Like I don't know who's making him talk, but they're nuts. And it's like, okay, this is what's in charge right now.
Well, the thing that scares me is with the emergence of the Chinese economy and their buying power now, and their influence on American policy, because America doesn't want to lose that Chinese dollar, because they can make an Avengers movie and have it make $1 million in domestic, and then they can send it over to China and have it make $4 billion.
Oh, sure.
And that's a plan. That's a long-term plan by China. China, is welcoming in all the products and stuff, make you dependent on the Chinese money, make you do things that you're not necessarily would do before, but the 3 generations of lazy Americans living off the laurels of the greatest generation have caused dependency on that Chinese dollar. The Chinese are just sitting back and letting it happen. And at a certain point, it's going to flip-flop.
Okay, so this is something I've been aware of since 2008 when the housing crisis happened. Right? The U.S. ran an economic war game. This was for those, like, the U.S. military ran an economic war game, which basically is there's no firepower, gunpowder. It's just purely a money war.
Right.
It was a world war, and they projected who'd win. And about, I think, 80% of the projections, the Chinese would win. And there was a 20% chance that gold can trump them. There was, right, but that was it. No one country could do it. And the reason was, and that it comes right down to, is there's a difference between money and wealth.
Yeah.
And people people think money is what, no, it's not. Money in itself is just debt.
Right.
In itself, right? That's what it is. Wealth is the things you own. Now, I'm a minimalist, so I don't really want to own a lot. I'm okay with little. But what it comes down to is that's for me mostly a choice. I want nicer things now, and I'm working toward getting those nicer things. But even so, it's just me. I don't need much. Like, you know what I mean?
You could live on very little.
Yeah, exactly. So that's me, and I understand that. But again, this is me making decisions based on how I want to live, and I have a clear idea of that.
Right.
Most people don't. Most people think it's about like again, debt, and in a debt system, you own nothing. That's something I've also that's something I realized at a very young age too. So, wow, like I said, I didn't think we'd ever talk like this, but that's okay. But no, what I've learned about the world is, right, it's not that they're being dependent on the greatest generation. What they've done was the quote unquote greatest generation had, because of again, at that one point in time, you had people like the US dollar was better than gold. Okay. So what does that mean, folks? That means your purchasing power was ridiculous. And when you have that kind of power, it's natural to get comfortable with it. I like, let's be honest. Oh my gosh, I can just snap my fingers and get everything I want. Well, you're not going to be going that fast. You know what I mean? Right? You're just not. Right. You're comfortable, and a little comfort isn't a bad thing. Let's be honest. I mean, I've wondered where my next meal is coming from. I mean, I'm at my absolute best, but I don't want to be in that position for very, very long, because let's be honest, that's a terrible position to be in for an extended period of time. So when you realize, so you have a comfortable generation who doesn't really understand, because they're not taught the nature of this. And the other major lesson I've learned in this time is that people, as a general rule of thumb, do not look for information on their own. It's discouraged. It's discouraged.
Yes.
So what that means is most people are never inclined to actually look on their own and see what's on their own. So
it's what I've always said. people are as long as their own backyard is not affected, they're comfortable.
Yep.
They will sit idly by and let whatever's going to happen happen.
Absolutely. And the true measurement of what you really believe in is when trouble arrives at your door.
Yeah.
That's when you truly figure out who you are. And most people have never again, we're about, like, you can see it no matter whatever you think about what's going on in the world. I am certainly not here to tell you that I have all the answers, because if I did, I would not. With all due respect to Mr. Rodney, we would be drawing somewhere where we had to have unlimited beer and football on all day long, and I'd be like,
USFL coming in April.
yeah, just that's what we'd be doing. Now, yes, for like, and I'd occasionally hit on some women. Maybe they did hit on me back. It's always nice. It's always flattering to get hit on by that way. Like,
Right.
that's pretty much I mean, and that's the other thing too. Like, most of us just want simple stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But sometimes, and this is where we're at, the universe is gonna say, yeah, you can't be this comfortable. You gotta move your ass. And that's where we're heading to. We're heading into an era where we're gonna have to move our ass. Now the question is, right, where are we going? Because that is still very much up in the air, right? I don't think the protests are done in Canada. I think they've just started, because the truth of the matter is, right? The truth of the matter is, the easiest way to deflect the issues going on would have been to have leaders talk to these people, whether you agree with them or not. But that's not what happened.
No.
So now it's just going to escalate. And the more, it's a Chinese finger puzzle, the more violence you use to try to curtail this without at least having a dialogue or delegation, the greater the increase, because it's the psychology of, why aren't you listening to us?
Right.
What is it going to take?
Violence begets violence.
Yeah, that's it. So that's where we're going, unless someone stops and listens. And again, I'm not saying agree to protest. I don't care, right? It doesn't, like, you have your opinion and you're entitled to it. And again, if you lived in Ottawa, I'm sure you very much, for the most part, the Ottawa people are against it. And I can see why. It's like, someone comes to your backyard and throws a party and you're not invited, I'd be mad too,
Right.
for a lot of reasons. At the same time, this is the hard question. How do you define an acceptable protest? Like, isn't protest by their very nature disruptive? Because they are everywhere else in the world.
Well, at some point, the protests are going to stop, especially when things that happened up there continue to happen. When people feel like they no longer have, when their courses of action are limited or don't exist, that's when they start getting squirrely.
Yes.
And that's when violence erupts.
Yep.
And it's no protests have gone through the motions and they've borne no fruit. And that's when revolution starts. Anarchy starts.
Yep. Which is why, like I said, if and or when, like, we have a debate tomorrow about the Emergencies Act, which can freeze bank accounts and stuff like that for anyone that goes. We're coming to a very interesting head here, and depending on how that goes tomorrow, I think, like I said, we'll see. Like, there's talking yourself off the ledge.
Wait a second. What did you say about the bank accounts? Say that again.
Oh, anyone that donated over $20 could have had their bank accounts frozen.
See,
right? Yeah.
That's why that is a very dangerous precedent.
Oh no, very much so. That's something that is. They're trying to control crypto, but I wish them the best of luck on that. They're not. They went to one company, Nunchuck, say, you gotta give us your crypto keys. Nunchuck answers them, we don't know who has these crypto keys. We didn't design this system to figure this stuff out.
Right.
Good luck, because good luck, and we'll serve you when the Canadian dollar goes tips up. That was their response to the government of Ontario. It's like, okay then. Everybody sees which way the wind's blowing. So like I said, even if that precedent happens and that becomes a thing, I mean, the reality is it's not going to last long. We're coming, like, if you're resorting to that to keep order, then it's not going to be very long until the order collapses.
That scares me.
Yes, that is that's what he. Oh yeah, but I mean, I always knew that. Like, again, where we go from here is up to us. But yeah, if we go down this path, I mean, it's not going to end well for a lot of us, like this that way. Different, yeah. Kill opinions, kill dissent. It's not a. It's never a good thing when you have to resort to that, especially since you have an easy option. At the very least, can you at least try to talk to them first?
Right.
That would derail most of this, I think.
Well, yeah. If you at the very least phone it in and put on a show, so you can say that we talked, but negotiations fell through. Then you've got that card to play. When you just blatantly ignore and answer with violence.
Yep.
That's
it. Like that's it. Like like I said, I don't think it killed it. I mean, okay, downtown's clear for now, but who's to say next week it'll stay that way?
Right.
Right. That's right.
So you get the truckers back up and running, but who's to say in holiday season begins in the fall that the truckers don't take all their cargo and go dump it into over a bridge somewhere in an ocean or a body of water. There's other ways to. There's other ways to.
Well, if people don't want to cooperate, you can't make them.
Right.
No matter what you do, you can't make them. And if people realize they're being forced, they're just going to chafe.
Right.
That's just how it is.
And then you eventually create a police state where they get control anyway, which is what they want.
Yeah. But even that doesn't last, because what ends up happening there is eventually it just falls apart because of too many laws. Everybody starts breaking the rules. That's just how that ends up. So, I mean, it's all about like I said, I'm going to be very interested what Canada chooses to do over the next few days. Who knows, buddy? I'm going to go. Can I bunk with you guys?
We've got
as long as you don't snore.
Yeah, as long as you don't snore.
Okay.
We had the snore wars last night.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. You want to hear that story?
Sure. Let's hear it. Let's go for that.
Okay, so I've been sick, sinus infection, head cold, whatever, for the last 3 days, and I've given it to Tina.
Mm-hmm.
So last night, laying in bed, and I've been having pains in my side for a few months, and I've convinced myself that I have liver failure because I've been taking Percocet, bus relaxers, and stuff like that for my back for the last 10 years. So, so I say, how do you know when you have liver failure? So she Googles this.
Oh God.
She says, well, do you have this? No. Do you have this? No. Do you have the whole time she's laughing hysterically and telling me that I'm such a dork. So we finally decide that I don't have liver failure.
Okay.
Or I don't have cirrhosis of the liver. So I take a Percocet and I take a muscle relaxer and I take an anti-inflammatory and I take a stool softener, which I haven't had in about 2 weeks. At some point in the night, I got up and ate a third of the pints of ice cream, stuck them back in the refrigerator, not the freezer. Have no recollection of this. Get back in bed. She's snoring because I've kept her up the last 2 nights. So she's exhausted too. And I'm having this dream. Okay. Now I've been working on this roadkill rampage thing.
Yes.
And her and I have been working on it for the last 2 days. So I've got this on my brain. So in my dream, I'm on the dock. And I'm looking across the lake, and which is a very pivotal scene in issue 3. And I lean down and I see that there's sharks in the water. So I lean down on all fours onto the dock and I'm banging on the side of the dock. Get out of the water, there's sharks in the water. Well, in real life, I'm banging on the side of the bed.
Let me interject here. Can
Hang
you
on.
hear me?
Can you hear her?
Oh, yeah, go right ahead, Tina.
Okay. Sherman has resolved himself to sleeping with me instead of Rodney because it has been so bad the last couple nights. Because Sherman's like, screw this, you're getting up too much. I'm going to mom's side of the bed. She sleeps all night. So this is up and down, up and down. This isn't one time. He's gotten up, he's moaning, he's talking to himself, and now he has started slapping the bed.
Because there's sharks in the water. So apparently at some point, I utter the words, "You're snoring too loud. I can't sleep."
So me and my cats left.
Wait, it gets better.
Oh, it gets better. Oh God.
So at some point I did get up and I ate some ice cream. Have no recollection of it.
Yeah.
But we went out and got some lunch.
Oh no, you got to tell him about this morning.
No, I'm going to come back to that. That's the coup de grace.
Oh, okay.
Let
So
Rodney,
we come back and I'm
let Rodney
downstairs.
tells the story. Let him tell it. I'm doing it.
I come downstairs and I'm getting ready because we're going to work on the script until it's time to hop on the show. And all of a sudden, I hear her screaming from the upstairs. Fyke, did you eat all the?
And I said, "Did you take the ice cream downstairs?
Did you take the ice cream downstairs?" And I'm downstairs and I'm in a panic. I'm like this. I'm like,
did I?
So I run upstairs and I'm like, and again, I have no memory of eating this ice cream last night. And she finally finds it. She finds it in the meat drawer with about 3 big bites out of each pint taken.
That's impressive.
So in the morning, so that was funny. So in the morning, when I get up, and we slept in because we were just both exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
I get up, and she's not there. I don't realize she's not there until I get up to pee at like 10:30, and she's in the extra bedroom, and all the cats are in there sleeping around her. It's like Bambi in the forest. And I go in there and I say, "What are you doing in here?"
And I respond, "You've got to be fucking kidding me, right?"
I'm surprised you I'm surprised she didn't just kill you. Like right there.
I don't know how or why I'm still alive.
Yeah.
But that's been our last 72 hours.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that, man. I mean, awesome, but you put that woman through hell just a little bit.
It's a good thing I'm cute and she loves me because
Yeah, well, no, she'd have killed you if you'd been anybody else.
It's because I did Blastcast last night and I told Russell, I said, "Buddy, I'm not feeling that good, so I'm just going to be on for a little bit. Is that okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's fine. We got a bunch of people on tonight. No big deal." So I got on there and I did my thing and I did that piece of artwork for Samuel for the Duty and the Toilet Kickstarter.
Sweet.
And then Russ was like, "Okay, well, Rodney's got to go because he's not feeling good," which I was going to stay a little longer, but I was okay with that too. So I was like, "Hey, fine." So, and we just went and laid down and watched a little bit of TV, and it was just like, wow. And then we'd start, searching the net for why my side hurts. And the funny thing is I started this new exercise at the gym at the first of the year. I'm trying to firm up these man titties. So I'm trying to firm up my pec muscles.
The moves. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So that's probably why my side is so sore.
Probably.
Yeah. So
I have to ask. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. So are they perkier now? Is Tina happy with how perky they are?
No, I still got man titties.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're working on it though?
I'm okay with the man titties if it means I get to sleep all night. This is the second time I have been kept awake because of this pain in his side. The first night, he's over there moaning, And I'm like, what's wrong? Are you okay? And he says, I have a pain down my right side. And I was like, well, what
Okay.
kind of pain? Is it like muscle or
I,
what is it? It's all down my right side. Okay, is it a stabbing pain? Is it a burning pain? I'm thinking appendix. I'm like,
Gallbladder.
yeah, what is it? What do we got going on now? No, it's muscle.
It's aching.
It's aching. And I was like, okay, so now we have an adjustable bed. And now I'm laying there and I'm like, my feet feel really high. And I said, Fyke, put the feet down on the bed. What? And I said, put the feet down on the bed. And he puts them down and he's like, that's better. And he goes to sleep. But somewhere from there to last night, he got to liver failure.
okay.
Yeah. This is what I'm dealing with, Josh.
So are you buying her booze, Rodney? You owe her some booze. A little booze. Or ice cream. Or
We've got the
something.
1800 silver in the freezer.
No, he
Might have-
wants ice cream.
She's well, you gotta buy her some ice cream with everything you just ate, man. But yeah, no, I just okay. So I you two are hilarious, by the way. You two are absolutely hilarious. I love
You
it.
should ask him about our show idea.
Okay, so I've been wanting to do another. I've been thinking about. I want to do another show.
Okay.
So for the last several months, I've been looking for somebody to do the show with, and I never asked you because you were getting really busy with your stuff. So I was like, okay, well, he's too busy, which is the reason I didn't ask you. And then everything else wasn't working for whatever reason, people's schedules or the vibe just wasn't there, this, that, and the other. So we were talking about everybody always wants us to come on together because of our dynamic. I'm the goofball. She's the one.
She's a goofball too. She has to be the adult because she has
She's
to
the
deal with
goofball
you.
in charge.
Yes.
So we're laying there last night before I got kidney failure, and we're
Okay, now
talking.
we've moved on to kidney failure.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. We're talking about this idea, and I think we were giggling about the kidney disease or whatever it was.
Yes.
And I rolled over to get a drink, and I said, "Boy, you can't write this shit, or you can't make this shit up." And we started laughing uncontrollably, and I said, "That's it. That's the name of the show. You can't make this shit up."
Okay. Okay.
So we were talking about her and I doing the show together, but she's worried about she's gonna at some point she's gonna come off as like the controlling. She's gonna come off as a bitch because she speaks her mind. So she's worried about coming off as a bitch and that and I'm like, I don't think so. I think people enjoy the dynamic. They enjoy my goofiness and my forgetfulness and my. So what do you think?
I think you guys would be hilarious together. Just listening to this story, I think it'd be amazing. I think okay, if we're going to be serious about this for just a second, this is what the decision you guys have to make. How long is your show going to be?
30
minutes. Because here's the thing about what you're doing. Okay. I think I don't know Tina quite as well, although me and her do a lot more business talk between the three of us. Right? Tina keeps her cards closer to the chest than you do.
Right.
That doesn't mean though that she doesn't have a personality. Far from it. I get the feeling. See, this is the relationship I get with you two. She loves you very, very much.
Oh yeah.
And she wants to protect you as much as possible because she knows you better. She knows how great you are, but she also knows what you don't do well because she has to live with you every day.
Right. She knows my flaws.
Yeah. And so her standard reaction is big protector. Now, I'm sure there are situations where it's the other way around too.
Right.
But in the entertainment side of things, She protects you. You do your thing. That is your relationship.
Yeah.
Now, so for her, she'd have to show a little more of her personality than like what she's done here is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, and the thing
Right.
is that she is, and she has her grandfather was a chief of surgeon here in northern Kentucky, and he was a guy that spoke from the hip, spoke his mind, and it basically cost him his career.
Yep.
She is her grandfather's granddaughter. She says what she thinks. She speaks her mind. She calls people on their bullshit, and people don't like that. But at the same time, she is whimsical. She is she's a very caring person. She's a fixer. She likes to fix people. She likes to help people, but she's also fucking hilarious.
No, she's younger Tina. I think younger Tina was probably a little bit more uptight. Older Tina still has that protector mode, but she's also seen so much shit at this point in her life. It's just like, fuck it. This is just the way it is. I'm not even gonna bother.
Well, yeah, I mean, since the two of us have been together, we have both grown so much. I mean,
yeah, no,
I'm
like
not the same person I was when we first met, and she's not either. And she's worked very hard towards it, and so have I.
Yeah. So if I were to be perfectly blunt about this, I think this as a show it could work. But I think what your show is actually really about, and this is going to sound incredibly sweet, you two love each other very much.
Oh yeah,
and you guys are better together than the sum of the sum of parts is together than what you would be individually. You both would still be accomplishing a lot of great things,
right?
But you're better together than you are apart. So what you have to make a decision of is like kind of what you feel is fair, like inbounds and non-inbounds, what to talk about, because you gotta have some kind of privacy there. As open as I am, there are things I will never talk about on the show.
Right.
Because there's just I do need a little bit of privacy.
Well, the party rules would be in effect, religion, politics, and sex.
Yeah.
Personal sex would be off the table.
Whatever.
Yeah.
She said, whatever.
Well, okay. So that all said, all I'm putting out there is, I think you gotta recognize what your show will actually be, because you kind of want it to be.
Yeah.
Because I know this too. I know this too. I hope, by the way, because we've quietly been talking business strategy for you guys off the air,
right,
about some things. And one of the things is you got to build a platform for yourself that's fun, because some of this shit's boring as fuck. That's why I'm on this podcast. This is my platform.
Yes.
I do a good job at it, I think. And people know who the hell I am.
Yeah.
Which is great. I've built that platform to be this way on purpose, and it has opened doors for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So that was always the design of be building this. Now, that all said, you want to build something similar. And what I would tell you is, okay, Rodney, you have both a very silly side and a very serious side, and both should be on the show. Tina is, although outwardly is the more serious of the two of you, I think is as silly as you are. She has to be. She lives with you, man.
Oh, yeah.
So
no choice.
yeah, she has to be. So the reality then is, okay, what would entertain you for 15 minutes? Because that's why I feel something like this would be, is a 15-minute show. You could teach people drawing stuff, because you're great at that. Storytelling craft, the business of what you do. But you can also just talk about irrelevant shit, right? The Bengals, maybe they'll come back next year. I actually think, on a personal note, if they do get an O-line, they will be, if they won't be there every year, but they will be there regularly, right?
Exactly.
Right? Just like the Chiefs. It'll be the Chiefs and them pretty much fighting it for the next 10 years.
And the Bills. And the Bills,
and the Bills, yeah. So the Bills and maybe the Ravens,
the Chargers.
Yeah. So no, like there's 5 really good quarterbacks. You could just see that you could just see everybody taking their turns for the next like years, right?
Yeah,
So
Brady and Manning have been replaced by Burrow and Mahomes and Humphrey or Herbert and Josh Allen. So
yeah, so yeah, the AFC is always like the thing is they might not win Super Bowls for a while because they're gonna have to learn how to beat each other without killing each other, right?
Right.
So yes, pretty much what's gonna come down to there.
Yeah.
But the reality of the situation is, right? You could like for your show, you gotta figure out what you're comfortable with, what's in your wheelhouse. I probably would start small, like something between 10 and 15 minutes.
We were thinking 30.
30 can be done.
Yeah.
I would just tell you just what I would do is I would do like a couple test episodes.
Yeah.
Can you do this? The reason why I'm saying 10 to 15, it doesn't seem like a long time, but it's getting into that habit of communicating. And once you get like, okay, it's like this show. I started off as 30 minutes to an hour. Now I'm an hour to 2 hours. Why?
Right.
I have an obnoxious big mouth, Rodney. That's my problem. I have an obnoxious big mouth. But also, I've gotten to the point where I can do a 30-minute show. It doesn't feel like much time at all. It feels like nothing to me.
Right.
Right? It doesn't. An hour barely feels it to me,
Right.
unless the interview's terrible.
Right.
Right? So what it comes down to for me then is, can I do it in a way that's engaging, entertaining, and working on those fundamental things I need to work on? And for you guys, that's going like the show never gets boring for me because everybody I'm on the show with talks about different stuff. I have a different conversation with you that I'd have with Bill Maas, right? A conversation I'd have with December Lace is very different than what I'd have with Trish and Mike Benson. And speaking of Trish and Mike, guys, I know you guys love Brock. You use some Brock Lesnar, especially after yesterday, but that's okay, right? That the whole point I'm getting at though is the first few, I start small and kind of see it. And if you feel like you got this in the bag, you could get this in the bag, then you go to your 30. And then what you do from there is, again, I always have a magic rule, 10 episodes. If in 10 episodes, if you've done it this way and you still feel like you got plenty to say, you have a series. And in which case, you just build the series, right? I'm imagining this is a once a week show. I'm imagining that it's it's figuring out your comfort zones, but also figuring like what you want to talk about. Like there's an opportunity to talk about the business side, what Tina does.
Right.
The opportunity to talk about your cool comics coming in, because that obviously you're going to want to direct people to you and to your stuff. Hey, buy my shit because my shit's awesome, right? I mean that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of which, folks, buy my shit. It is awesome. Anyway, right? But yeah. So that all said, you gotta like I said, you gotta have a base strategy of what is the show. Am I comfortable speaking this long? Like you gotta figure that stuff out. But once you figure that stuff out, right?
Yeah.
All right. For you, I feel like this is like your newsletter. Like this is probably how you'd rather do a newsletter than actually sitting down and writing one, because Lord knows I don't like doing that either. Yeah. Right? Talk about things that mean something to you. Talk about things that interest that you're passionate about. Like that would be a good show because you're an interesting guy and Tina's an interesting woman.
Yeah.
So I think you guys could do it. I also think you'd have to build it. I think my goal with that would be wherever platform you guys decide to do it, whether it's YouTube, Rumble, whatever. All right. The goal would be to is take your fan base, establish it, get people to spread the word out, and do some cool shit. Like the other like option you could do too for your first few episodes is you could give away like the first issue of Pitter Patter. Hey, would you like a copy of Pitter Patter? Sign up for the mailing list and I'll send you a digital.
Right.
And you do a mailing list for the show. You let people subscribe or do a subscription list for the show. Let people subscribe it. Ba-dum. And then suddenly, hey, everybody's got it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So, Does that all make sense to you guys? Or is that
She said bring guests on.
So can we bring guests?
Can we bring
sure,
guests?
sure, if you want to. It's your show. Don't like it's your decision. Here's the thing about guests. If you're gonna do a 30-minute show, okay, let's say you do 10 minutes regular stuff. You're promoting your products, your Kickstarters, your work, whatever you're doing. Okay, let's assume that's 5 to 10 minutes of the show. Then your interviews are going to be very much more question and answer based than say a full formal conversation, because you only have 30 minutes.
Right.
Max. Right. Obviously, you can go longer than that because Lord knows you did, like, the hard and fast rules are made to be broken. But when you start, it's good to build your structure before you play with it. If that right. So build your structure, get comfortable with it, and then it's like, okay, now how can we break this shit? Right. Because that's what I did on my show anyway, and it worked out okay. Right.
That worked.
Yeah. So no, you can definitely do it. I think like once a week, you two get together, like tell this story. Actually, do you know what would be hilarious? Would actually be a little hilarious if you did it. What if you did it like, instead of actually doing a video of you two telling the story, you actually do little drawings, like a little mini comic, and of the story happening. That would be amazing. Right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Again, you don't have to be as fancy as you normally do. It can be very simplistic. Right? It doesn't need to be complex. So seriously, the bed thing and the snoring thing, and then just that would that cracked me up. Like that cracked me up listening to here. But could you imagine drawing that story? And I'm just saying, like you can see it, couldn't you?
Oh yeah, I can see it.
And here, you want to hear a little marketing genius from my end, and this will be a freebie. And then the rest of the time, I think I might have to charge you. Here's the other thing. So what you do is you collect enough of this material that you've drawn, and you release it as a book for a subscriptions only book as a thank you to people that have subscribed to your show.
There you go.
Right?
Nice.
They get a Rodney Fyke original of all the stupid shit you and Tina do together.
No, it's only stupid shit that Rodney does.
Miss Tina, I love you, but let's be honest. You're as silly as Rodney. You just sometimes you have to be the adult. That's the thing. You have to be the adult. And I'm sure once in a while he's the adult too. Sometimes. No. Hell no. You'll see the show. But yeah, but the thing is, right? That like these are little things you can do that would be different. Like one of the things that actually really amazes me, like you guys all draw for a living, right? You have an opportunity like to merge that with video in some unique, not just live streaming like this,
Right.
but actually just like, okay, you have a YouTube show. So, and yes, I'm trying to talk myself into some more work. What can I say? Somebody, hey, listen, I got all these panels here of stuff. Can we put this together with a track, right? For a video, for like a 2-minute, 3-minute little story that you tell. It's something like the snoring thing could be like 5 minutes entertaining. And so you draw like, again, nothing complex, right? But like maybe they're just all splash page comics, like a splash page thing of what's going on. Right. So you just go from one scene to the next scene, to the next scene, to the next scene, and just let people see the picture of it. And just, you tell the story, and you'd have so many people laughing.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's the goal.
Right. And right. But it's also just, it establishes a genuine connection because they're going to root for you and they're going to root for Tina. And Tina, you won't look like the bad guy. Like, I actually felt a little sorry for you hearing that story. A little bit. Right?
You should have.
Yeah. Or it's like, oh, God. But, I mean, that's just...
I think that's why when I say things on the air, like, what the fuck, Fyke? Like, I feel like that's all people hear. They don't hear what he's done to get me to what the fuck fight.
Well, no. It's okay. First off, you can't be afraid to look like the bad guy. I'm just being perfectly blunt here.
Hey, I paid a lot of therapy for retail being the bad guy to not be the bad guy. Oh wait.
No. See, here's the thing. I learned this a long time ago, right? I worked for an author, and it did not go well. And the thing about that, though, was in spite of all of that I've just said, one of the things I came across, which is some of the decisions I made in that time in my life, is I wasn't the good guy. I was legitimately the bad guy, and I had I had an epiphany though. It's okay to be a dick sometimes, right? And I have no problem embracing my inner asshole. It's actually a glorious thing, right? So the thing is, I wouldn't worry about what people think about you. I would be like, I'm just gonna be me. You're gonna love me for who I am, or if not, fuck yeah. I don't care, right? I don't care unless you're paying my bills.
Well, and the thing is that's always been my thing. As far as I get along with anybody, I've never met a stranger, and I love everybody until somebody gives me a reason not to love them.
Yeah.
That's just the way I've always been. If you like me, great. We'll get along. We'll be friends, and I'm a very loyal friend.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And if you don't like me, I'm okay with that too. You don't have to like me. I'm not one of those people that are craving acceptance by people. If you accept me for who I really am, then great, because I'm not fake. I am who I am. So I'm not looking for people to accept me for something I'm not, because I don't put up any fronts. I am who I am. I'm not. I always say, because I kind of become, the buffoon on the other shows, and I'm okay with that. It's okay, because I'm not the best artist in the world. I'm not the best writer in the world, but that's what makes it appealing, because I'm on this lifelong quest to just create, and people, I think that makes you more relatable.
I look at I'm going to finish my point, then I'm going to answer yours. Here's the thing. Sometimes this is what I've learned, and I'm okay with this. Sometimes the right move is to be the dick.
Yeah.
Now you don't do this to everybody. You don't go out of your way to be that ass. But
I can be a dick.
Oh yeah, no, totally, right. But I was living with roommates in Calgary, and they had this little brother who's in his early 20s, who's like, I can't do anything because I'm little. That was just like, he's in his 20s. He's not a kid. He's not 6 years old. He's 20. Okay, so I started doing this, and it's going to sound cruel, ladies and gentlemen. I said, "Oh, you're so whittle. Are you really that whittle?" And he hated that. But here's the thing. I knew he was full of shit.
Right.
And since I knew he was full of shit and he was looking for attention,
yep,
I was going to give him what he wanted, just not in the way he wanted. Right? So I'm not going to feel sorry for you. There's one thing I do not do well for most people is I will empathize with you, but I will not pity you. Right. There's a very, very big difference. So, embracing that inner dick sometimes being a villain is actually a great way to protect yourself. Now, going back to what you're saying. This again, the last 2 years have been very eye-opening for me in some ways, because again, watching struggle, watching people go through what they went through in the last 2 years. Like I said, I don't know what it's like where you're at, but even though we've gone crazy up here, right? You can tell that where we've been up until this point is coming to an end. Like sooner or later, it's like the mandates, I think, are all but gone at this point. So I think everybody knows like this year's the last year for them, one way or the other. And right. So the thing is, right, people have been traumatized for the last few years. And in this time, you've got to see a lot of people's characters. Sometimes, right, to protect yourself, you have to realize too that not everybody's for you. That this isn't about making people happy. We're not in this life to make everybody happy. We're not in this life to necessarily get along. That doesn't mean you're trying to be confrontational or adversarial, but
Right.
at the end of the day, I truly think God's going to give very little shits how many friends I have. Right? I truly think I truly think that the universe is going to be very much, oh, you can't be this. No. Not going to give a shit. What did you do when it got hard? What did you do? How did you treat other people? Were you kind? Were you happy? Were you an asshole? I thought lots of asshole thoughts during this pandemic, but I've always tried to treat people relatively kind because I realized too that, you know what? I don't know what they're going through, right? I don't pretend to know that. I don't pretend to understand that. So, right. So there's a certain grace I give everybody, but at the same time, I have my own points of view. I have my own way of looking at things. I don't expect you to agree with me. In fact, I could care less if you agree with me or not. I hope you. I mean, it's great if you do, but the reality is, I got to be true to who I am, and that's it. Like Shakespeare said it best: "To thine own self be true."
Right.
Right. Most anything else is bullshit. And I truly believe that. So, if you're looking to please people, if you're looking to, you might as well just be yourself and don't worry about how people are going to see you. Because honest to God, two things: one, what do they know? Two, right? And two, you don't have to carry this idea inside you that you got to be this way or that way. Or, who fucking cares?
Yep.
I'd rather just be myself, right? I'd rather, I'd rather let the world know that, like, yeah, I'm my own kind of fuck up, and I'm great with it, and I love who I am, because that's healthier than trying to fit a mold that isn't really you. If you somehow become that world, you are now in hell.
Right. You're living a lie.
Yeah.
And that's exhausting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I guess if I really cared what people thought, I wouldn't have asked you that question on the air.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
I mean,
but no. See, for you, Tina, I'm gonna call. This is what I think it is, because we've had some quiet talks about some other things. We had some. So this is the thing. You want to be supportive, but you only have so much time. And this kind of thing, doing this kind of show, is going to be an hour or 2 hours a week, right? And that's assuming it all goes well, right? So this is a time investment, and do you want to do it? And that's what it ultimately comes down to. Do you want to do it? And if the answer is no, that's fine. There's no crime in that, but be honest, right? This is a commitment. Look at how many episodes I've done. I'm at 732 right now, right? I'm committed, right? Right. But somebody else, I don't expect you to go 732 episodes, right?
Well, we've gone several hundred with the Thursday Friday thing.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know what the exact count is, but yeah, we've been doing it since April of 20.
Yeah,
that's good.
So
I don't question you guys. I don't question either of you two's ability to commit to something. You both I know you guys can do that, but be honest with yourself before you begin this. Do you really want to? If the answer is yes, just Tina, be the best. Just be you, and the world will either get you or not. And if they get you, I think they're going to love you. But if not, fuck them. And as far as Mr. Rodney goes,
I'm all for it. I think it'll be fun.
Oh no, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I think this could be, if you guys if you treat this as like a cool down show, you know what I mean? Like, you come in and you're like cooling off after like a week of drawing, writing, like whatever, getting told by your editor that this won't fucking work, right? Or and openly weep in the corner, just how mean he can be, that asshole, right? But no, the thing is, right? If this is just your week of you guys just letting your hair down and having fun for 30 minutes, whatever you choose to do, it'll be a great show.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe that should be your approach to it. Like, maybe you do it again, you treat it like a newsletter, in the sense that, but again, you tell a story, and this should be a good storytelling exercise for you too, Rodney. Like, if you do that idea where you draw like little panels to describe it instead of actually having both of you on the air to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But can you tell a story in like 6 pages or less? Right. Quickly. right? They don't have to be great. They don't even have to be great. It's just the idea of, can you do it quickly?
Do you know that I did we did a web series for 4 years called Hard and Soft Taco.
I've heard of it.
We did it once a week, and then we started doing it twice a week. We have 168 strips that we published. And I think there were 4 that were never published. So
It's amazing.
Being committed, that's not, I mean,
Oh, that was
I
never my
want to
issue.
try something new,
Yeah,
because
of course.
as much as I love doing what we do already, it's the same people every week.
Yeah.
And nobody buys anything anymore.
No.
I've got a stack of sketch covers, really good sketch covers. Some are shit, some are really good, that I can't give away. And that's frustrating. So if we start doing something different, we start getting a different audience in.
Yeah.
Then that, and it's not about selling. It's really
No.
honest.
No. I get it.
It's about changing it up. Shaking it in hopes of revealing another pattern.
I totally get that. No. Okay. This is the marketing advice I talked to Tina about. I'm going to give you the same spiel here a little bit. Your whole goal at this moment in time, as a creative and as a businessman, right, is this thing. You have a platform, you scream, "Here I am," and do cool shit, right?
Right.
And you have a place to direct people. And everything you do, right, is about that over and over and over and over and over again, right? And that's the organic growth, like what you're going to do. And you want to do something differently. Like, to be perfectly honest, this isn't really a comic show, what you're talking about. This is more a slice of life show.
Yes.
I think should have, like, that was just my visual idea. It doesn't have to be that. It's your show. I'm just throwing some shit out there.
Because
what you got to look at too is, okay, this is about building relationships with an audience ultimately. Right. So to do that means you got to be like somewhere where you guys are now building platform, like you're building a platform just for you, that you're not just drawing because everybody's doing that. Right. You're trying to figure out a way to add some personality to it and talking about your relationship, your week by week, what you're passionate about. And even though that's not, again, I'm not saying it's never been done. It's always interesting because it's you, and you're just doing your own little corner. You and Tina doing your own little corner of the universe, which is always a wonderful thing. So, what I'm saying to you is,
let me forget. Oh, you turned out cool.
Real quick, Josh.
Oh, that's a very lovely Venom, I think. Yes. Very awesome.
Deadpool.
Oh God. So who wants to get out? So Deadpool want to get out, or Venom just want to run? Oh my God, I'm on Deadpool. What the hell?
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, it could go either way on that. I'm just, so you're in an interesting spot in the sense that the one thing I have noticed about you, good sir, is you share platforms with a lot of other people.
Yeah.
But you don't actually have your own. And it's an annoying part of this, but everybody does. I look at like Kickstarters, like very successful Kickstarters and people that are doing stuff like that. They feed off their mailing list. They feed off their subscribers, their listeners, all that stuff. You need something uniquely yours. Yeah. Is what I feel like. But I also feel like, again, the strategy is going to sound very business-like in the sense that you are going to direct people to Hasm. You are going to direct people to you, right? And you should, right? But at the same, again, I'm not telling you anything like that isn't like complicated. What I think, like, here's what I think. I think I get the impression with you, blogs aren't necessarily your thing. You don't mind doing them, but they're not like your regular thing.
My only issue with blogs is I want to get too personal.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm not comfortable with that.
No, I get that. No. Again, so I'm just listing a few of them. Blogs, newsletters. I hate them, but I see why people use them because they work. Mailing lists are how you build a customer base. It makes a lot of sense. So what I will tell you, and this is what I think, you want to just have fun.
Yeah.
So for you, doing a little video or audio show where you guys are, if it's just an audio show, by the way, and I didn't even bring that up. If you want it just to be an audio show, it can just be an audio show.
No, I want it to be video.
Okay, so you want to be okay. That's fine. That's cool. I'm
physical.
clarifying. I'm clarifying this. So I know what we're talking about. So, like what you do, good sir, is this: look at the ways you yourself can make this interesting and fun, and have fun doing it.
Oh yeah.
Because the goal should be, strictly speaking, business wise. I've seen some of the shows like you're on. One show I won't talk about too much on the air. I think your drawing episodes are always fun, but also at the same time, that's a long game, and also it just is a long game. So I do think more people, as they become more aware of you, are going to become more involved with you. I do somehow think big things are still in store for you, good sir. And when they do happen, you're going to get a bigger audience. What you need to do right now is build your own platform to interact with your audience.
Yeah.
That's where you're at, and you need to do it. And it sounds to me like you just want a place where you can go 1 week and you can talk about snoring. And then the next week you can talk about the Bengals. Next week you can talk about constitutional concerns in the United States. The next week we can talk about the stuff that fascinates Rodney.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you do a life experiences you do feel comfortable sharing. Maybe 1 week Tina is the silly one and you're the adult, and it's an awkward episode in the best ways, right? Maybe it doesn't matter, but what you're looking to do is what everybody should be doing.
Yeah.
You make this fun. Right? They're just trying to make this fun. And I think I wouldn't be doing this if this wasn't fun for me. Right? I wouldn't. It's just I have a magic number in my head. If I hit that number and I'm not where I want to be, I will walk away from the show. But I will be proud of it. Because again, the work speaks for itself.
Blue tape.
Yeah.
Blue tape.
Thank you.
She only wants me for my tape.
Yes. I thought it was the perky boobs. I totally thought it was the perky boobs. But it was, yeah, that's right. Na, 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 na. Anyways, yes, but honestly, you need to build your own platform. I think deep down you know that.
Yeah.
But I also think you want to make it fun. And there's nothing, you can have it both ways. So you like I said, if it was me, I think I would film a pilot episode. See how long you can actually go, right? It has to be at least 10 minutes. 30 is, again, I'm not saying 30 is an unreasonable goal. I'm just saying you should just film a couple, see how they feel to you, right? If it's fun, just keep doing it. There's no magic. Here's the one thing. There's no magic way of doing these things. You just got to figure out what will work for you.
What's going to work and what's not.
Yeah. And some of that's trial and error. And some of that is totally trial and error. But again, you need to reach out to people. You need to get more people to see who you are so you can get better opportunities.
Yep.
And that should be the goal for you right now. Right. On top of that, building your universes and your playgrounds like Roadkill Rampage, which, by the way, folks, is a great book. Right. I have no bias to it whatsoever. But
wait do you see what we've done?
I'd like to, I can't wait. But that all said, you're a talented, creative dude that wants to have fun.
Yeah.
The way you advertise yourself should be in that vein, good sir. And if you ain't having fun, bail.
Yeah.
Just bail. Be a grown ass man. Quit. It's okay. Quit.
But Mama always saying,
Mama, I love you. If it's hard, you can't quit. But if it sucks, you quit as fast as you fucking can, Mama. If it sucks in the fun way, I'm in. If it doesn't suck, all right. If it sucks in the unfun way, I'm out. I'm running. Yeah, I'm out. It's just the way it is. I'm too old. I am too old. At this point in my life, I don't give a shit. I'm doing
how
what
old
I
are you
want
now?
to do. 40.
40.
40. And
I'll be on Friday. So
happy birthday. But but here's the thing.
Did you just say you were going to be 40?
I said I'll be on Friday. He said he's 40.
Oh, okay.
I'm 40. So I'll give you a fun little story. I'll just give you a fun one. So last night I go try out this Thai place or this Korean sushi place in town. Fun stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
The server is 24. Okay, she thought I was 30. In fact, this part is, I'm kind of both flattered and a little creeped out by. She actually contacted me last night. She was actually interested in going further. She's 24. It's not outside the realm of possibility for me, but at the same time, I when I talk to her, it's just like, I don't think you and me would work at all. I just that way.
Yeah.
So but it was flattering, right? So I still look young, and one of the reasons why is I just do what I do, please, and I have for the last. Even when I was working for people, like when I was working for the company I was working at, actually one of my old bosses is, most people let this job dictate their lives. You actually were able to dictate your terms to this job. Not many people can do that. Oh yeah, it was easy. There's there's no, everything's a negotiation, right? It's knowing what you can do and what you can't. With the company I was working at, when I was there, I worked. I didn't pretend like I had other things in my head sometimes, but the reality was, from this time to this time, I'm here.
Right.
Period. That's it. Now, I bent those rules sometimes, like everybody does. But the truth of the matter is, right, I never not did my job.
Right.
Whatever I was asked to do, I did it. But because of that, I was able to get everything else I wanted.
Right.
I made the effort up front, and then they would accommodate me. Even to the point that when they couldn't, my boss is quietly just call in sick. They're not going to care.
Yeah.
We know, but
now that listening to you say that and thinking back on all of the jobs I've ever had, I kind of always did that myself too.
Yeah.
If you prove to them that you're going to bust your ass when you're there, when you need something, they'll work with you.
Yeah, no, it's it. No, it's the absolute truth. Unless it's harder now for me to do that, and here's why. I've been working on my own for a long enough time now. I cannot look at a boss as a boss the same way anymore. I just can't. Right? I've done too much of my own stuff.
Right.
So when it comes to so I don't have the same mindset. So that's why I got to keep going down this path, because let's be honest, right? I would not last any other way. I'm just going to go forward and keep doing my thing, but I still follow those rules. I don't quit because it's hard. I quit because it sucks. I follow that rule with everything in life, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. Lots of people quit. I hate to break, folks. People quit all the time. People absolutely quit all the time. The trick is, it's why they quit. If you quit because it's hard, then you did it wrong.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, getting better.
I like it. You know what's interesting is I'm seeing your style is starting to develop.
Yes.
Yes. And that's
better.
It's cool to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've had this I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility for me that by the end of this year I could regularly start taking commissions. Right? It's not outside the realm of possibilities for me this year.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So I'm becoming this creative person that can create storytelling opportunities visually and in print. and I can do it so many different ways. And
Right.
my skills are transferable. That's what I do. But it's fun to me to do these things and build these things. So that's me in a nutshell. For everybody else watching, listening, for everybody doing what but one of the things I've learned in this life is we don't have fucking a lot of time to be fucking miserable. There's plenty of misery in the universe. It doesn't need my help. I'm here to have a good time while I'm here, do what I'm going to do, and walk away. Right? That's pretty much it.
Well, if there's one thing that Tina's work on her self-improvement had taught me, is that you decide how much something's going to affect you.
Mm-hmm.
And my part-time day job that I have, I'm a driver.
Mm-hmm.
We go and we pick up cars.
Oh, sure.
In the 5 surrounding states, we either deliver a car or we pick up cars, whatever, cars, trucks, vans, whatever, Amazon vans. And it's a bunch of old retired guys. And then there's me, and then there's one other guy that's younger than me, but they're all cackling hens. They all sit in the office, and they talk politics, and they've got the TV on, and it's on Fox News all day long. So that's what they regurgitate, and that's what they know because that's what they're fed, and they swallow what they're fed. And they choose every day to be upset by what's on the news. Mm-hmm. They choose every day to be upset by what comes in the form of a memo from corporate. And I can't wait to get my assignment, get out on the road, get away from them, because it's just a part-time job for pocket change. And I don't let it affect me. Now, I used to. I will fully admit that I used to. I participated in it like everybody else.
Sure.
Because you get sucked into it. You don't realize it. And I stopped doing that. And the dynamic has changed, and it's really my state of mind is so much better because I could have, when we were at my sister's house, we were watching the Super Bowl. I think Tina was a little surprised at how little of a reaction I had when they lost, because I was waiting for it. Yeah. And the one thing I said, and I said it on the podcast the day afterwards, is I was there, I was with my family, and I was happy for that.
Yeah.
Nothing else mattered. It's been 33 years. There are people that aren't with us anymore. The last time they were in the Super Bowl. So I took a moment, and I stepped back, and I was appreciative for what you have. And the here and the now, and everything else was gravy. They've got a quarterback that's going to be good for them if they take care of them for the next 10, 12 years. Mm-hmm. So that's great. But I'm not going to cry in my milk over them not winning. I didn't listen to all the coverage on the news for the next 5 days that followed, because move on. Okay, that happened. Even if we would have won, okay, I would have celebrated it for a day or two and then just move on. Because
I wanted another little trophy for you.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah. I wanted another little trophy for you.
Well, it's important to me to. And I've said this to her, I used to say it all the time, let's just move forward. What happened, happened. That's not dwell on the past so much. Learn from it, but don't let it handcuff you, and move forward.
So here's the thing. I think I'm gonna go back to the beginning and go with what you're saying at the end here, and that's this. Life tries to distract you.
Absolutely.
In a zillion different ways. And we all get sucked in, partly because no matter who you are, whether you watch Fox News, whether you do comics for a living, you're passionate about something. It's how we're wired. We're wired to become passionate and care about things. That's who we are. So that in itself isn't a crime. But
no.
But what most people don't realize is, okay, I always say this: people do exactly what they want to do at the end of the day. What that actually means, but the thing is, when I say it like that, though, what I'm also saying is too that you're serving a want no matter what you do. So, do you want to be miserable? Do you want to be distracted? Do you want to be sucked into what Fox News or CNN or CBC or CTV are telling you? Because if you are, then you're sucked in. Now, again, I'm not saying information is bad or good. But there are definite, like as we said at the very beginning of this podcast, The media today isn't exactly what we would call a reliable source of information, no matter what you watch anymore. You gotta go find it. If you really want the truth, you have to go discern it for yourself. That's just the way it is. It's always been that way, but I think more apparent, the accessibility to it is a lot more available now than it ever was.
Yep.
That's number one. Number two, right? Whatever choices you make, you live with. Like, again, is the world a terrible place? Monday, the emergency law might be a permanent thing in Canada. It still doesn't mean the world's a terrible place. It just means that things are happening here right now. I still got mountains literally right outside my door. I can look at them right now. They are some of the largest, most beautiful things on the planet.
Yep.
I have people in town who I'm getting to know better and are becoming familiar with. My roommate has given me a place to stay while I figure my shit out, which I am incredibly blessed for. In spite of everything happening right now in my life personally, I also, in spite of, this might sound like the craziest thing of all, because I have nothing guaranteed, but I also have faith that it's all going to magically work out. Right. And maybe I'm absolutely wrong on that, but I'll hang my hat on it. Fuck it. I don't care. Right. And that's it. Like, that's the world I choose to live in. Right. Anything is possible. Anything is magical. And I'm not going to get distracted by nonsense or shit that doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And worry about what I want to do. And finally, which I think the last thing you mentioned, be grateful for what you have when good things do come your way. Because you owe nothing. You were owed in this life fuck all. Right? Fuck all. So if you're owed nothing, then anything you get is a blessing in of itself. And if you treat everything like that with the humility and grace that actually is, then one, no bad times last forever. And two, there are good things even in those bad times. Treasure them. Keep going. Keep moving forward. And find the world you want to create. It's out there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's was reading something today. A lady put a quote from Maya Angelou about the hurricane. All hurricanes eventually run out of rain.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that, she wrote that down when she was in college and it stuck with her entire life. And I was like, ooh, that's probably something that I need to remember, because it's something that you need to tell folks, make folks aware of, that, like the crow, it can't rain every day,
It can't rain all the time, and bad things don't last forever. Right. No matter how dark things may seem at certain points in life, it's not going to be forever and ever. And that's not the nature of the world. The world is change, right? So if the world stops changing, then guess what? None of us are going to be around for much longer anyway at that point, right? So,
enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the world has changed. The world never stops moving, and you can't either. And no matter, bad things give way to good things. Good things give way to great things, and great things give way to bad things, and bad things. It never ends.
Right.
There's a cycle to this stuff. So while you're on this magical ride of life, and you have no idea where you're going, that's all of us. Every day, my friend, we don't know where it's all going to lead.
Right.
But that doesn't really matter. It's, as we said earlier, when it's in your own backyard, who are you?
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
The journey's more important than the destination.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. If I do figure it all out, I'm going to be I'll get that luxury mansion in the middle of an island somewhere, and I will invite my friends to come party with me, because it's the last thing. What's the fucking point of having everything if no one's there to share it with you? What's the fucking point?
Yeah.
So, it's again, that's my philosophy. Everybody else may have a different philosophy, and that's fine. Lord knows I'm certainly not this wise. I'm people call me wise sometimes. I'm like, sometimes I feel like I know less than I did the day before.
What do I feel so stupid then?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what I'm doing. Sometimes that's actually little. Like, what are you doing? I don't know.
I'm making shit up as I go, like everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Why are you doing it? Cause right, that's it. Right. But that's what it comes down to. It's not. Life is life, and you're gonna we all live through it. There's gonna be good times, bad times. we are in a precipice of change now, ladies and gentlemen. No matter where you are in the world, you can see it coming. Like the way we've been doing things for the last 100 years or so, we ain't going to be doing it that way anymore soon. You can see it.
Yeah.
So it has come. The moment is here. So now who are you going to be in this time? Because that is more important than what happens to you. I hate to break that to some people, but it's the truth, right? None of us are meant to walk out of here. So who do you want to be while you are here? And what kind of world do you want to live in while you're here?
Yep.
That's it.
I agree.
Yeah. I think I don't know where we go from here today, because I think that's a good hell of a high note to walk off on.
Covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, we did. So, good sir, thank you for doing this. Thanks for coming in for me.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it.
It was a lot of fun.
So before you walk away, good sir. So, we got to talk a little bit. I've been making fun of the editor of the show. If anyone hasn't figured that out, for the editor of the next Roadkill Rampage, that's actually yours truly. I'm going to be working on Rodney's book. I've already actually started a little bit, nothing major, because again, the last book was pretty much done. I just cleaned it up in a few little places, but yeah, like 3 is done, and I can't wait for 4. So how's it coming?
We're going to try to wrap it up tonight. We're down to the last 5 pages.
Rodney quit doing it wrong.
Yeah, she said if Rodney would quit doing it wrong. We're shaving it down. You know that I have a tendency to repeat things unnecessarily. So
yes,
we've taken some of that stuff out, based on your advice.
Yep.
And we changed something very critical, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. I want you to read it and get your
sure. No, that's fair.
Reaction, because it's the right thing for all the right reasons. And
okay.
I just can't wait for you to read it.
No, I can't wait. So can I ask this? Was my advice super helpful for you then, with everything with the direction you're going?
Yeah, it absolutely was. And it a lot of it was similar to what other people who have edited me before have said. And I tend to write very purple. I write very, very Stan Lee-ish in my head, because that's what I grew up on.
There's nothing wrong with Stan.
Yeah, I tend to try to squeeze too much in because I'm trying to be more eloquent. And some stories call for that. This one doesn't. So get rid of this. We don't need this. Chop this off. Take these words out here.
Yeah. No, it's fine. No, what I would also say, good sir, something I noticed when I was reading your script. This was your first horror book, right? Right.
Yeah.
So this was you as a little bit coming out of your comfort zone. And I know I speak of this as this is a habit I have as well. So I'm able to see it. When you're going into an uncomfortable territory, you tend to repeat yourself because you're just trying to it's almost like you're jumping from how those video games where you're jumping from one platform to another and you're trying not to get into that hole in the middle and just go
right. You're trying to find your sledding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt like for you, this was your first foray. You had fun. And some of it was when I was reading it, it was wow, I didn't know he had such a horrific mind. So it's going to be interesting to see where they're at, especially folks, if you read Pitter Patter and then you read Roadkill Rampage, you almost don't believe it's the same guy. You almost don't.
Yeah, read Pitter Patter or read Peanut Pudding and Jelly before Pitter Patter, and then you're even more shocked.
Yeah, but I think from what I've read so far, you've done a heck of a job coming out of your comfort zone. And when you do your next kids book, when you decide to do it, it's going to be better than what you did before. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Because you got new tools for your toolbox, my friend. So
right, I got a whole bunch of new tools.
That's right. I know. I am legitimately excited to read it. I can't wait to really get to work on it, and I'm also I'm just looking forward to seeing what you come up with, my good sir. So that's next for you. So Roadkill Rampage. Do you know do you know when the Kickstarter is going to be going for that at this point?
Do we know when we're going to be launching the Kickstarter for the next Roadkill Rampage?
I'm thinking probably April or May.
Okay.
April or May.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because Adam's doing 4 and 5 or 3 and 4 back to back.
Yeah.
So
Are you going to put them both together? Or are you going to spread it out?
No, I'll do 2.
yeah, 2 separate ones.
But he's supposed to have the artwork done, hopefully sometime the first part of April. And then I'll run it after the artwork's done.
Yeah.
So I won't run it before art.
So Mr. Rodney, I think your show's a great idea. Just before we wrap this up, I think your show's a great idea.
Thank you.
My advice, just make it as fun. You need a outlet of just pure fun.
Yeah.
And get her to, again, figure out how to tie it up to everything else you're doing. But once you got, like, that's really your biggest challenge. Have a blast. Like, the snoring story is a hoot and a half. It really is. And
We'll have to bring you on.
yeah, that would be great. I would be honored. At the same token, good sir. Like you like I said, get your platform going. You're great. Don't ever doubt that. You're great.
Thank you.
You're
not so bad yourself.
Don't tell these people that. I got expectations and anyway, no. But I'm folks. I'm very good with my imposter syndrome. I beat my imposter senseless. That's what I did. But that's me. You don't deserve here. Then I threatened it with a paddling, and then at that point, it just stops. Just stop talking. It's like, I'll paddle you. That was really. I intimidated my imposter with fear, folks. That's how I did it. Now, it may not work for you, but it worked for me. But no, you have great ideas. Your stuff's really good. Like you said, just when you do decide to do this show, this is what you seriously want to do. Make it as fun and you and Tina as much as possible, and it will be great. And then don't worry about it. We'll figure, like then other logistics stuff. We'll figure it shit out. But that'll be it. You are too deep a person. You're in the, and I know that's going to be shocking to some people say this. You have such a varied variety. You have lived a very, very, very long, like nuanced life. Like you'll never, again, you're an interesting guy, and you should definitely just treat yourself like an interesting, fun-loving guy, and the show will just fly. Seriously.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right. On that note, where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram at Rodney_Fyke. You can find me on Facebook at Rodney Fyke Art on Facebook. You can find me at the Hazm YouTube channel, HAZZUM. And you can find me on Twitch, Rodney Fyke.
Oh, is it Rodney Fyke Productions or Rodney on Twitch?
What is it? Rodney Fyke Art on Twitch.
So that's the one I'm going to post.
And then we're working on the Twitter thing.
Well, you can find just Google Rodney Fyke.
Just Google Rodney Fyke.
Oh, yeah.
It all pops up.
Yeah, Professor Rodney is one of a kind. I promise you, you'll find him. His stuff will rock. I reckon if you guys want something with a little bit of gore and a little bit of fun, little bits of chaos, check out Roadkill Rampage. If you want something a little bit more lighthearted but surprisingly deep in spite of all of that, check out Pitter Patter. It's really good. I did not read the other one, so I can't really make a comment to that. But for those watching, for those listening, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll be back kind of with a regular schedule this week. Joe Compton is Monday. I got Dabia and Andrews Tuesday. I got VS Holmes Wednesday. I got Leanne, Kathleen, and Gino and Abby. I gotta look at the calendar here because I almost know what I'm. I almost know what I'm doing. Like I got a wonderful dynamic duo there, and Mel Gondori is my drink and draw guest this week. I have had Mog on the show.
Yes.
But Mel is actually talented in his own right. I cannot wait to actually have him draw with me on the show. What?
What night is that?
That's the 25th. Night 25th.
Oh, that's my birthday.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Maybe I'll draw something in honor of Mr. Fyke. Maybe give you like a professor's cap and like college thing, and you like the beard. Hey man, hey, never. You've helped me a lot with my drawing. I cannot thank you enough for that. So anyway, folks, take care of yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow night. It's gonna be a long week for me. It's gonna be fun, but it'll be a fun one. You take care, guys.